what's going on? How's everybody doing tonight? Tonight, we got a nice show put together for you. Within the next couple of minutes, right approximately about 10:05, we have Abdul Shaheed Jabbaar, who is running for the school board in the city of East Cleveland. He'll be giving us a call. I met Mr. Jabbaar at a meeting a week or two ago. I kind of like some of the ideas that he had. I like the direction that he wants to take East Cleveland's school board in. He is an older candidate. I know the general consensus amongst the general election actually in the city of East Cleveland is everyone is trying to put in younger candidates to change up the philosophies and ways of everything that has been going on in the city of East Cleveland for a long time. I cannot say that I disagree with that, but I don't think that can be applied universally. I think we have to take a look at each individual candidate and judge the candidate on the merits of their own individual ideologies. So Mr. Jabbaar should be calling in within the next couple of minutes. I got a few questions for him myself. You're welcome to type your questions in the interactive chat room, and I'll have him answer those questions also. Want to say, give a shout out to my man Leonard Davis. He did his thing at the Halloween, the haunted garden for the kids. You know, he was out there, he braved the elements and everything, and he pulled it off. That was a nice event for the kids. It just shows his dedication to making things safer for the kids in our neighborhoods. I appreciate you for that. I see my man Kenneth Sharif is on deck with us as usual. You know, he's one of the regulars. All right, like I said, Mr. Jabbaar is scheduled to call in at 10:05, so we got maybe another minute or so before he calls in. I'm waiting on that right now. And then tentatively scheduled, we also have Leonard Davis tentatively scheduled in. I don't know if he went to the game tonight or not. Oh yeah, big shout out to the Cavs. You know, the Cavs did their thing tonight. Might be a good season for the Cavs, but Leonard is supposed to call in on the second half of the show tonight. We were talking earlier, and there is no type of monument or anything honoring the women who were murdered by Anthony Sowell. And if you look throughout the country, you know, anytime there is any something horrific like that, there are normally some type of monument or some type of dedication that is. Let me see. Oh, this is Mr. Jabbaar calling in now. I'll get back to that. Hold on one second.
Abdul Jabbaar.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hello, how you doing, Mr. Jabbaar?
Oh, pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I was just telling everybody we were waiting on you to call in. You know, before we get to asking any questions, I'm gonna give you a minute to tell our listeners just a little bit about yourself.
Okay, thank you very much, and I appreciate the opportunity that you have given me this evening. My name is Abdul Shaheed Jabbaar. I am a candidate for the East Cleveland Board of Education. I am a 27-year resident of the city of East Cleveland. I come originally from Boston, Massachusetts, educated in the Boston School District. I hold degrees in accounting and finance from Suffolk University in Boston. I have also an associate degree in accounting from Roxbury Community College. I have a teaching certificate from Tufts University for teaching the disadvantaged and handicapped, and a management certificate from the University of Ninex, which was located in Atlanta, Georgia. I've been in East Cleveland, Ohio since 1986 when I was transferred to Cleveland by my company to run and manage a sales office for them as a $16 million a year operation for a Fortune 5 company at that time, Ninex Corporation. And I started getting involved with the school district as soon as I got here. I worked initially with the Job Corps in Cleveland, and then I was invited by the East Cleveland School District to talk to students, teachers, faculty, and many students out of the East Cleveland School District. Two of my daughters who were school age at the time, I graduated from Shaw High School. I had about 12 or 13 grandchildren go through the school district. I just adopted two of my great-grandchildren, and both of them are enrolled in the East Cleveland School District. I was on the Board of Education, actually. I was appointed on the board for 2 years, 2005 to 2007. I had an excellent record when I was on the board. It's a matter of public record. Anyone can look at it and see. I was the vice president of the board and chairman of the Buildings and Ground Committee. I oversaw the building of Mayfair Elementary School, Shaw High School, and just a footnote, there was a building on a dome that was near Mayfield Elementary School. It was an abandoned house. It was not safe for our children to walk by. I was the one who brought that to the attention of the Board of Education, and it took us 2 years, but we managed to get the building. We tore it down. We built a playground there for further expansion of the district. That's the type of things that I was doing when I was in the district. This is not the first time I've ran for office in the city of East Cleveland. I ran for the Board of Education on 3 occasions, 2009, 2011, and 2007. 2007, after I came off the board, I was appointed by the mayor to the Financial Oversight Commission for the East Cleveland School District, and I served on that commission for 4 years until the end of 2011. And my name is one of the names that have authorized the East Cleveland School District to come out of financial receivership. Just a little bit about me. I'm just not someone that just showed up and all of a sudden decided that I would run for office.
Right. Now, I've seen your signs around for years. As I was listening to you, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. I have, I'm gonna start off with my first question. You said you were appointed to the school board previously.
Yes.
Once you were appointed, why did you have to seek re-election again, or what happened to cause you to not be on the school board after you were appointed?
I was appointed to the school district and to serve out a term of a member who had left the school district. I haven't figured that quite out yet. I had an excellent record. When I was appointed to the school district, Shaw High School was actually just a hole in the ground, and black-on-black crime was protesting the building of Shaw High School because there weren't that many African-American contractors on the site. I was the one that negotiated with them and negotiated with the contractors and actually brought that site participation of minority vendors up to about 30%. Okay. I did all kinds of things like that. I voted against the police coming into the East Cleveland School District with dogs to go sniff out the lockers to see if there were drugs in it. I was against that. Okay. I was the one who introduced the new campus wear. I'm the one, the reason. And for some reason, that didn't go over well. Apparently, with the citizens of East Cleveland, I called for stricter academic standards way back then.
Now,
and I just couldn't
hold on 1 second, Mr. Jabbaar. Not to cut you off, but I got you. Mm-hmm. One of my personal views when we're dealing with our kids, the kids in East Cleveland, the kids in any predominantly black community, fundamentally, I don't feel that there is any difference between our youth and the youth out in Pepper Pike or the youth in predominantly white suburbs. One of the things that I do not like, I feel that the police presence at our schools, when the police show up with dogs, when the police show up with a force of guns, I believe that preconditions a lot of our kids for the penitentiary. Just the way the police interact with our youth. And I don't like that. When I was coming up, we had regular security guards, and the security guards knew 99% of us by name. For example, when I was in high school, the security guards had went to school with my father. So it was much more personable. The security guards, it was more of a respect factor where the kids respected the security guards, and they didn't have the animosity that a lot of us are taught, or the learned behavior that we have towards the police. If you are elected to East Cleveland School Board, is there anything that you can do as far as going back to having security guards in the schools instead of police officers?
Well, I recommended that back in 2005 when I was appointed to the board. At that time, I had recommended that instead of hiring police, that we hire our own private security guard for the East Cleveland School District and police our own problems. I felt that that would give the students more respect for authority within the school district. I've always felt that the East Cleveland School District is an educational institution and not a penal institution, and we cannot give our children the impression that it is a penal institution. They have to have an impression that it is a institution for intellectual pursuit, and it is not.
Okay.
And I certainly would try to change that when I'm on the Board of Education.
Okay. Now, there are rumors in the city of East Cleveland that the East Cleveland School Board has upwards of $46 million in surplus. But the system is ranked as one of the worst in the state of Ohio. If there is surplus money, what is it being used for?
Okay, let me clear up the rumors. In fiscal year 2012, the fund balance as of June 30th was $27,447,000. It's projected at the end of fiscal year 2013, that balance, and what I'm talking is just the surplus at the end of the year, would be $18,887,000. So there is a surplus. That surplus is declining because of the cutbacks, but it is a surplus. It's not so much what that surplus is spent for, it's what the monies that are spent in the district go towards. And to make it real simple for your listeners, we spend approximately $13,831 per pupil per year on education in the East Cleveland School District. If you take that number and just approximate numbers and divide it and multiply it by the amount of students that we have, we're spending somewhere around the vicinity of $47 million plus per year on education in the East Cleveland School District. Of that, 52% goes towards instructions, salaries, pensions, things of that nature. 45% goes towards service, and 3% goes towards other elementary and secondary expenditures. Common sense says that if we're at the bottom, and we are, then the monies that we are spending are not benefiting our children to get them off the bottom. So we have to revisit what we're spending those monies on. I had proposed back in 2005 that we change the statement mission of the district. Right now we're working on what is called a continuous improvement plan. But this plan basically just addresses the test taking. And we're teaching our children to take tests. At that time, it was the Ohio graduation test.
Right.
But we weren't teaching our children what the other schools are teaching their children. The other schools are teaching their children to be prepared for college.
Right.
So they're getting instructions that give them the math, the science, the social studies, and all of those things. We're not giving our children what they need. So consequently, when our children run into those tests, they run into things that they haven't had. And that's why they're failing, and that's why we're on the bottom. So we need to change that. And I propose, and what I would propose, is that we change that to a district that is a college preparatory district, preparing our children for college in or entrepreneurship. And I have experience in the corporate world, and I also ran a very successful business here in Cleveland myself, so I'm an entrepreneur too. And I think if we do that and then come up with a plan that guides our children from kindergarten to college with benchmarks along the way, then what you will see is you will see us pull out of the bottom and move up to the top. I think we can be one of the best schools districts in America. And if you would go back to 2005 when I was on the board, you will notice that we were actually moving up on that ladder. At that time, from 2005 to 2007, we had 3 males on the board and 2 females. I lost an election. Mr. Parker lost an election. Mr. Hood, who was the only male on the Board of Education, passed away. And from that time, it's been an all-female board. And progress has started going in the opposite direction. There were things that were stopped. We had single-gender classes in Chamber Elementary School, trying to get some of the students back. That went on for a while. That was stopped. They had CAD-CAM, computer-aided drafting in Shaw High School. That program was stopped. Things like that was stopped. Encouragement for students to go on to college was not encouraged. There was no real-time tutoring for students when they wanted to take the college boards exams, so-called college boards exams. All of those things have hurt us, and apathy has set in, and we started selling for mediocrity, and that's what you see now.
Okay.
It's a mediocre district that has some good programs, but they're not focused on doing what they have to do for our children. Spending that kind of money, our children should be getting the same education as children that go to private schools.
Okay.
And that's been my conviction ever since I ran for the Board of Education, and it's what I feel now.
Okay, Mr. Jabbaar. Okay, at the meeting where I met with you, I guess it was like the general consensus amongst the people at the meeting that everyone wants younger candidates with new ideas. I spoke to Pam Blahoviak, who is a member of the current member of the school board. So my next question for you is, if you are elected to the school board, how will you be able to bridge the gap and work with the younger members who have a totally different ideology than yours?
Well, first of all, I have to state this. I am an older candidate for the Board of Education, but that's chronological age. Intellectually, I keep abreast of what's going on, so I don't feel that a younger candidate has a different ideology. I think that my mind is just as sharp as their mind and just as progressive as their mind. And in saying that, I want to say this. I can work well with everyone. It doesn't make a difference to me whether you're male, female, whether you're of European descent or African descent, whether you're young or whether you're old. In order to be a good school board member, you have to build relationships. You have to be able to win friends and influence people. You have to be able to establish ties, because you're only one person and you cannot act alone as a school board member. You have to have at least 3 other people agreeing with you to be able to move forward what you want to move. So if a younger person comes in with an idea that's going to benefit our students, then I would be more than happy to help that young person get that idea out there and do everything that I can possibly do in order to support that. Because I would feel and I would hope that they're on the Board of Education, not to further their political career down the line, by running for city council and running for the mayor, because a lot of people do that.
Right.
I would hope that they're there to establish the best school district that we can, because without that, this city is not going to move ahead.
Okay.
You cannot have a school district that fails and expect us to be in the forefront in the future. So it doesn't make any difference to me. I will work with anyone, particularly young people, old people. I don't care. I'm not intimidated by them, nor am I jealous or anything like that. Matter of fact, I'll help them as much as I can, because I may not have the strength to go on with this for another 4 or 5 or 8 years, and they will. And they need the help so they won't go back and make the same mistakes that we made years ago.
Okay.
And one of the things that a lot of us who are my age don't want to do is to pass that knowledge on, but I'll be more than happy to do it.
Okay, that's a great thing right there. What are your views on the necessity of high school sports and the role that sports plays in the development of our youth?
Oh, well, I was a high school football player. I mean, the high school sports are absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary, because they teach our youth, number one, the esprit de corps, the spirit of just being together and playing the sport. But it also teaches our youth how to win and how to lose. Pull yourself back together and get back on the field. This is one of the biggest lessons that it teaches. But if used correctly, it could also teach our young people geometry, physics, and all of those things, because that's what sports are. Football is played on a grid, so you're teaching a child while you're playing sports. But we have a problem in East Cleveland, and I'm glad you're asking this question. The problem is that we have to give our children everything that they need in order to be successful. We have children running track, and there's no track and field for them to train on.
Right.
We have children playing football in this inadequate football stadium. We need to put more sports in the mix, non-traditional sports for an urban area, like lacrosse, tennis, soccer. We need to give our children more opportunities so they can see what's out there in the world. And by playing these different kinds of sports, that will help our children.
I agree
You go to
with you.
St. Ignatius, children are playing lacrosse. You can get scholarships to go to college for playing that. You can get scholarships for playing tennis. See, all of these things are designed to help children so they can further themselves in the greater world. And that's what we need to do. But the students need to have what it's going to take to make them successful. And it's our responsibility to give them that. It's our responsibility to give them decent track and field facilities, a decent football stadium, and it's our responsibility to support them, because when they win, the school wins, every student wins, because it builds a good spirit and it lifts up your self-esteem.
I agree with you 100% on that issue right there. We have Mr. Abdul Shaheed Jabbaar with us tonight. If anybody has any questions for him, you can type your question in the interactive chat room, and I'll make sure he gets that question. We got a few more minutes to go with this segment. So, like I said, if you have any questions for him, he's willing to answer any questions. I met Mr. Jabbaar at a meeting maybe a week or so ago. Out of all of the candidates, I felt that he was the most knowledgeable. I feel he answered the questions more sincerely than any of the other candidates. So I'm appreciating him taking the time to call in tonight and talk to us. Let's see, nobody really typing nothing in the chat room. But is there anything else that you want to leave us with tonight, Mr. Jabbaar?
Yes, it is. I would respect your vote, and I will not disappoint you. I won't embarrass you. I will work really, really hard to assure that our children in the city of East Cleveland have exactly what they need in order for them to be successful. We sit around and we say a lot of things. We say, well, a B in a black school is not the same as a B in another school. We settle for low test scores. We don't have to do that. Those things can be changed by the people whom you elect to be on the Board of Education. And I am saying to you, when you see my name, Abdul Shaheed Jabbaar, vote for me, because I am not afraid to get the job done. I am not afraid to do what's necessary to assure that your children have what it takes in order for them to get out here and compete with anyone in the state of Ohio, and for that matter, anyone in the United States of America. We're right down the street from Case Western Reserve University. How many children are we preparing for that? Right. 5 of the greatest colleges in America are free. How many children are we preparing to go to those? This is what we need to see. This is what we need to do. It can be done. I know children who have graduated from Shaw High School who are having great lives and great professions. But that's just a few. We can do it to just about every student.
Mr. Jabbaar.
So remember, on November 5th, vote for Abdul Shaheed Jabbaar. I will not disappoint you. You've taken a chance with everyone else. You've seen the results. Take a chance with me.
Okay, Mr. Jabbaar.
I can show you what can be done.
Thank
you so much.
No, hold on 1 second, Mr. Jabbaar. I got a question from my man Jordan in East Cleveland. His question is basically, college is not for everyone. So he wants to know if you are elected to the East Cleveland School Board, what type of programs will there be for children who are more interested in trades, as far as plumbing, being an electrician? What type of programs will you implement to teach those type of skills?
Okay, let me just answer this question 2 ways. First of all, I wasn't saying that college is for everyone. I'm saying everyone should be prepared for college. That's just the general academics that you need to have coming out of high school. But the other part of that is also to teach our children to be entrepreneurs. We have automobile mechanics at Shaw. We have culinary science. We have cosmetology. There's a program there for firefighters. There's a program there for STNAs. But all of those programs are just teaching our children how to get jobs. We need to take that a step further. We need to not only teach them how to get jobs and how to work in the trade, but also prepare them for college while we're doing that. Just in case down the line sometime they want to go to school, they should be prepared. Wow. That's our job. We're supposed to do that. We're spending the money for that. But we should also teach them how to start their own businesses. We should teach them a little bit about accounting. We should teach them a little bit about management. We should give them the tools that are necessary so when they go out into the world, it will be a shock to them if they wanted to file to be a corporation. They should know all of that stuff coming out of high school. Then we've done the job. And for your information, one of the programs that they stopped at Shaw High School was computer-aided drafting. Back when I was going to school back in the day, they used to call it drafting, and you learn how to do blueprints. That's a big-time trade, and it's something that you can make a lot of money in. Right. But we stopped it because students weren't interested in it. But we didn't push it. They made it an elective, and it should have been mandatory for every student in the 9th grade to take some of that. So if either a girl or a boy wanted to be a draft person, and there's nothing that you can't buy that hasn't been done by a draftsman.
Now,
they would have known that, and we could have done it.
Now,
I would promote things like that.
Okay, Mr. Jabbaar, one of the things that I stand for is accountability. And one of my viewers just typed in the chat room. You got a couple of good questions on here now. one of the things that I advocate is accountability. As far as I tell our youth how important it is to vote, how much power it is in the vote, and I also teach our youth that just like we have the power to vote an individual in, we have the power to vote that same individual out if they do not do what they promised to do. Um, what hold on, you got another question here real quick. My man Kenneth Sharif, he wants to know what type of programs will be offered to enable the children of East Cleveland to compete in the global economy. Hello?
To answer his question, yes. I mean,
Okay.
to answer his question, in order for children to compete in the global economy, they must be able to interface with other people, particularly people like themselves from other areas. This is when you teach them a trade. You have to be able to mix in with it. Looks at like manufacturing, importing, and things of that nature. So that would all be a part of the entrepreneurship focus that I would try to establish in the East Cleveland School District. For example, the girls in Cosmopolitan, they're learning how to do hair. But we buy all of the hair from Asians. So they just become a service. But the real money, the billions of dollars, is in the international trade and how you trade with these different companies. That stuff can be taught. So those are the kinds of things that we would establish along with the, I hate to call them trades, but the trades that we're teaching our children. So they will have a broader look at things. And then we also have to be able to show our children that there are other people here in Cleveland besides the people in East Cleveland. We had a young man who graduated from East Cleveland that went to Case Western Reserve real quickly. And he graduated from there, and I saw him one day, and I was talking to him, and he said, well, I never knew that there was that many Asians in Cleveland because I've just been in East Cleveland. Yeah. So we need to take our children outside and introduce them to the bigger world. The Nigerians that are here, the Asians that are here, the people from Somalia that are here. Introduce them to that world so they can build relationships. And when they build those relationships, that will give you exactly what you're talking about, a broader role that our children can play in the bigger scheme of things.
Okay.
And we can do that. We can do it by outings and things like that. The Board of Education can set all of that up.
Okay, Mr. Jabbaar, I appreciate you coming on the show with me tonight. I think you answered all the questions. You did a great job with that. Our viewers, you getting positive comments in my chat room. I wish you all the greatest luck on election day, and I'm gonna have the show. It'll be airing. I send you the link where you can see it. It'll be on YouTube, where everybody can see it, and it'll be on Facebook. But I thank you for coming in tonight on the show. And like I say, good luck on election day.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and thank you, viewers. And vote for Abdul Shaheed Jabbaar. I will not disappoint you. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. All right, that was Mr. Abdul Shaheed Jabbaar. He's running for East Cleveland School Board. I thought he did a good job answering a lot of the questions that we had, a lot of questions from myself and from our viewers. I'm waiting on my man Leonard Davis to call in now. I was talking to Leonard earlier today, and we were talking about how there is no type of memorial for the victims of Anthony Sowell. But if you go in other communities, if anything that tragic had in a different type of community, there would have been something to commemorate that, something that would never let the public forget about the women that were murdered by Anthony Sowell. So, like I said, I know my man Leonard was going to the game. He hit me up in the chat room to see if he calls in, and we will talk about that. If anybody else has anything on their mind, you're welcome to call in tonight. See anything else you want to talk about. One of the things that I have been working on is getting more of our youth to want to be business owners, to be retailers instead of consumers. A lot of people, especially in the black communities and the poor communities, we are so used to taking our money and spending it outside of our communities. Hold on, let me see. Oh, this is my man Leonard Davis calling in now. Hold on a second. Hello.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
What's going on, Leonard? Got you live on the air tonight, man. I was saying how we were talking earlier about how there is no memorial. There's nothing to, make everybody remember the victims of Anthony Sowell. And how realistically, if that had happened in a different type of neighborhood, there would be some type of monument. It would be some type of something that would make the people just never forget that.
Oh, that's definitely true. So, for instance, on the 12 o'clock news today, Channel 5, they mentioned that they invited the families out. I don't know who organized it, but they invited the families out to come out and participate in the memorial service for the victims who got killed by Anthony Sowell.
Okay.
One mother stated, I didn't come out, and I quote her, I didn't come out for this. All this is a political show. And it brought me back to something. When I saw that, it brought me back to something that you said when we first came out in East Cleveland for the 3 young ladies who got murdered. It was a political show then, it's a political show now. And the thing that really upset me is when the mother said, this has been going on for 4 years. We don't have not one flower or anything to commemorate what happened on this spot or in this area to these women. And I thought that personally was atrocious because the women over on the west side, the 3 young ladies on the west side, although they didn't get murdered and they were held up for 10 years, it wasn't even a month before they got flowers or a big garden or whatever dedicated to what they went through.
Right.
And I find that atrocious in the communities in which I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that could have did something. And when I was talking to you today, I think it's probably going to be up to us to do something about that. Some type of memorial, something. We got to definitely do something about that.
No doubt. That's what we do. I'm just saying, the reality is, say a lot of our viewers don't know how far we go back. But the reality is, I believe in action. You know what I'm saying? I know sometimes I might be kind of eccentric with my action, but you always roll with it, So,
no doubt.
So, I think it was just funny earlier when we were talking about this, and when you were saying there's nothing to commemorate that, and the first thing come out my mouth is, well, we got to do it, So, I don't know at this point exactly what we going to do, but I know we going to do something.
You got that right. I was thinking about the connections that Kenneth Sharice had with Home Depot. If we decide to do something, maybe we can, like we always do, pull together or solicit donations or whatever to make this happen. Because, like I say, and the mother she was so right when she said that I can't believe it's been 4 years and not one flower, not one rock, nothing to commemorate these young ladies, what they went through in the Anthony Sowell case.
Wow.
And that says a lot about the community around there, and it says a lot about the politicians around there.
Right. You know, and my beef with the politicians is they like ambulance chasers. You know, they only come out when it's a tragedy. It's the same with the news media. They only come out when it's a tragedy. They never want to come out and say anything good about a lot of the things in our neighborhood. But I guess as far as I'm concerned, that makes it easier on me because you know, and I know you do a lot of things out in the community, but that just goes to the genuineness and the grassroots of a lot of the things that we do out here in the community. Um, you know, between me, you know, a lot of the people that come out with mad and everything like that, we do so much stuff out of pocket, and it's never a thing where because I was going to touch on something a little bit later on in the show. I can kind of start why I got you online with me, but I was having a conversation with a guy the other day, and I was talking about black community activist man. So I was not talking about one specific person, but what I was basically what I was saying was black community activist man is nothing more than the evolution of Uncle Tom's. So what I mean by that is you got all of these people that's calling themselves community activists, but the only thing they do for our community is show up on the scene after the fact. You know, after a kid has been murdered, then they show up with the news crews. They aren't out here in the streets prior to that telling the kids put the guns down. Don't do this. It's a better way. Black community activist man is seeking as much money as he can get in grant money and paying himself a handsome salary. You know, he's not out here on the, and I say it's a battlefield because it really is. You know, he's not out here every day talking to the kids from the heart. His whole motivation is grant money. How much can somebody write me a grant for this? Or I'm gonna come up with an idea so I can get all of this different grant money and yada yada yada. But none of that is genuine to me. You know, how many times do we look at the news and we see every black community activist man at the scene of the vigil, instead of seeing them out there every single day telling the kids we got to change this up. We can't keep killing ourselves. You know, I don't get me wrong. I understand that we all have real lives. We all deal with our own problems, our own families. But sometimes, and I'm saying especially since I've been out here with M.A.D and everything, I'm riding through East Cleveland. I get pulled over regularly, and it'll be a kid with a problem, and then sometimes it might not be much. I might just have $5 or $10 in my pocket that I can give him to keep him from picking up a gun, going out here doing something crazy. But go ahead, Leonard.
Yeah, no, and Tone, that's what it's all about, communication, man. It's like you do, like I see you do all the time, like I do, like I see others do. It don't take much to stop and talk to a kid.
Right.
You know, for instance, this summer, and I think I shared this with you, when the kids say, "Hey, sir, I see you out here every day working the garden or doing these things. Can I come out and help you next year?" Man, and I was stunned. I was like, "Yeah, you want to come out right now if you want to." But it doesn't take much. Like you say, a lot of ambulance chasers and all that. But what about prevention? What about getting them at 9, 7 years old? For instance, like we had the kids out for the Halloween thing. And, you know, what you did at the end, man, was just unbelievable. You know, like I say, but I know you, and I know you come through regardless. And on that note, I just wanted to share one thing with you. You know, the thing that happened in Akron, I know a lot of people don't believe in the Halloween, and you know, and I understand that. But to have something, I'm gonna read this verbatim from David. His phone died down in Akron, the Akron teacher, and what he said, it made me realize that what we did last Saturday meant a lot. And he said, "Quote: I don't mind if you come to my neighborhood from the ghetto to trick or treat, but when you whip out your team dicks and piss on the telephone pole in front of my front yard, and a bunch of preschoolers and toddlers. You can take your nigga ass where it came from. I don't have anything against anyone of color. The niggers stay out. And that only solidified what we're about and how we have to be more responsible in our own community for our kids.
Right. You know, I'm saying, the more I study history, the more I learn. You know, I learn something every day. I'm not too old to learn. One of the things that I do learn is that as black folks, we would not have been able to accomplish a lot of the things that we did if it hadn't have been for some white folks helping us along the way.
No doubt.
But one of the things that we cannot do, I feel like we do our youth several disservices. One of the biggest disservices that I feel we do to our kids is to teach them that racism no longer exists. That is, to me, I just don't understand that ideology at all. The second thing, especially when you're dealing with young boys, I think that the worst thing you can do to your son is to raise him to be passive in a violent world. That is just setting him up for failure. Now, I'm not saying teach him to go out here and pick up a gun and do crazy things, but you have to teach him to be a man.
No doubt.
You know, so when I think I saw that post on Facebook about the man in Akron, but the reality to me is, at least he said it out loud.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of people who feel that way, and they would never say it out loud, but they'd take it out on us if somebody goes and fills out a job application and he is the boss. You know, we experience more of those type of situations than coming across somebody who's just willing to say it out loud.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that, you know. But so we're not gonna waste our time on that. Now we gonna worry about what we gonna do for these ladies.
No doubt.
That's also very important. And like I said to you earlier, you're definitely gonna come speak to the kids that I'm involved with, because, and I'm telling you, be 100% blunt, 100% honest, and what you say to them, because they need to know that. And they need to know, how you started up your business and whatnot.
Right.
So yeah, you definitely that invitation is open.
Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, Leonard, I'm getting ready to get up. I've been on the air a little bit too long tonight.
We're gonna do something for these ladies who don't have a memorial, and you know us, we probably had the best memorial in the world.
No doubt. It's gonna be genuine, right. That's for sure.
All right, Tom. Thanks for having me, man.
All right, then. I'll talk to you soon, man. All right, stay safe. All right.
Okay.
All right, that was my man Leonard Davis calling in tonight. What's up? I see my man Kenneth Sharif in the chat room, as always. I appreciate you tuning in every week. Appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight. You know, I'm getting a little bit better and better as I go along. I'm looking for some big things coming up in the near future. We are now working on the M.A.D. Thanksgiving event. I have more details on that as soon as I get with the people at City Hall and make sure that our location is secure. But once I do that, we will be seeking donations for basically a citywide dinner where all are welcome to come and sit down and eat. I feel that, we should never put anyone down. Just because somebody might be doing bad this year does not mean they'll be doing bad next year. Next year we might need a helping hand from them. So always keep that in mind when you're out here doing your thing. Sometimes what goes up must come down. Sometimes it's us, sometimes it's them, but just keep everything in perspective. Like I said, I want to thank Mr. Abdul Shaheed Jabbaar, who is running for the school board in the city of East Cleveland, for logging on with us tonight. Thank my man Leonard Davis for calling in. Make sure y'all listen up for the updates on what we decide to do as far as some type of memorial for the Anthony Sowell victims. We are desperately trying to make a difference out here in our communities. I say a lot of things we do is not covered in the news media, but everything we do is grassroots and it's from the heart. So I want everybody to stay safe. Make sure you tune in next week. I have more information on the M.A.D. Projects coming up, and if anybody has anything or any topics they want me to address, you can always hit me up before the show. And like I said, everybody stay safe. I'll see everybody next week. Peace.